In traditional accounting, the journal entry is a record of a transaction where we list all the debits and all the credits so that it can be generated into the chart of accounts. This is the basic definition for QuickBooks also, but there's a few differences we need to be aware of. First, QuickBooks uses familiar forms such as invoices, bills, even checks to handle our day-to-day transactions. The journal entry is actually created behind the scenes. This is done automatically for us, nothing for us to do. If you'd like to see these entries, there is a report called the Journal Report. Now, of course, this exists in the Reports area, and you will find it under Accountants and Taxes. I have put a shortcut on my toolbar to make it easy to get to. What we now see is a list of each of our bills and all of the behind-the-scene transactions. If I double-click on a transaction, you will notice this is where I entered a bill for Bay City. It immediately went into accounts payable because it was a bill. My offset account on the bottom was recorded also. QuickBooks lets us see it through a user-friendly form. However, when we close out, you'll note that it's put our journal entry in the background for us. Each item in QuickBooks will work the same way. You'll notice I have a check. It shows that it's coming from my company checking account and it's being charged to gas and oil. As I go down the list, you'll notice the paychecks show all of the detail from an individual paycheck. Once again, when I double click on it, you'll notice that it's actually a regular paycheck. Once I hit my paycheck detail, the information that we're looking at is actually generated from our Review Paycheck screen. From time to time, it's a good idea to review the journal report to make sure that we're hitting the correct accounts. I find it easier to look at where things are going in a journal report rather than going into each individual check. Now keep in mind that the automatic journal is not the only one that we use in QuickBooks. There will be times when we actually need to create our own journal entry. Now when we work with our journal entry, you'll notice that QuickBooks will want to automatically assign numbers. This can be a nice feature. However, if you do not want to, just say "Do not display this message" and hit OK. The entry then can be any number that you would like to, or if you would prefer to put an area such as payroll into the entry, that is acceptable also. At this point, we will create a standard journal entry with debits and credits. As always, it's a good idea to put as much information in as possible. On the bottom of the screen, you'll also notice that I can get a list of all of the journal entries that I have manually entered into the system. This is a new feature that has been recently introduced that is very, very nice. If I double click on an item, of course it brings that transaction to the screen. Now keep in mind that the bulk of our work will be done in forms. However, if you're doing manual payroll, if you're closing out your books at the end of the year, if there's an adjustment that needs to be made, journal entries are where we'll be able to do all of these items.